Step over to your local detox, ask the same question. People are scratching their heads saying, well, how bad an alcoholic death? Can I talk to my counselor? And as comical as it sounds, when I really understand what it does for me, that leads me to the place where I will make the supreme sacrifice. Because I don't think AA is going to work for me. That's a really hard place to be. It's a really dark place to be. A friend of mine said the definition of hell is if God were to show you all the things you might have accomplished if you'd only believed in yourself. And if you're new and you can't believe in yourself tonight, believe in Alcoholics Anonymous. Believe in the collective consciousness of this group, of this fellowship, of this society. I mean, I think Bill Wilson was in, Time Magazine as being responsible for the largest social movement of the last century. This thing's affected like 40 to 50 million people. You know, and I really had to start to look at what it is. I mean, Chuck C said it better than anybody. He said the real problem here isn't alcohol. He said the real problem is a conscious separation from God. And then he points to the 11th step where you see the solution. Conscious contact with God. And for me, that bridge from 2 to 11 is steps 4 through 9. Maybe what they should say in AA is, rarely have we seen a person fail that's done steps 4 through 9. Oh, rarely have we ever seen anybody do 4 through 9. I do the AA waltz. 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3. I'll turn my will and life over to anything but that which will solve the problem. That's why we say you want to hide something from a newcomer, you know where you put it, right? Stick it in the literature. They'll never find it. There's only one thing people like us do in moderation. You know what it is, right? The steps. It took a while for me to understand what a conscious separation from God was. And it's real simple. I didn't want to pray. You know why? I didn't want God to find out where I was. That's simple. So if you're new, we have a chapter in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, We Agnostics. Have you noticed we don't have a chapter, We Believers? There's a poem in Notre Dame. It says, I sought my God I could not see. I sought my soul I could not free. I sought my brother, and I found all three. And that's why we talk about nothing ensures immunity from drinking more than intensive work with others. It is by reaching back in my community and helping another drunk that I see myself, my shortcomings, my defects, my hopes, my salvation. See, for me, this is the only prison where the key's inside. And that's why we talk about AA being the last house on the block, because until I've failed on every other resource, I'm not going to come here and do these things. I'll balk all the way through the steps. You know, I look at 2, 4, 9, and I'm drunk. But see, for me, like a lot of us, the disease killed me every day and it wouldn't bury me. And I kept coming back to those two choices. Go on to the bitter end or accept spiritual help. And in order to do that, I had to eventually get rid of the old ideas that were blocking me. You know, I had a bunch of conditional relationships with this power. You know, Wilson talks about me being the actor, trying to be the director, right? Trying to arrange the ballet, the lights, the scenery, and all the players. And if everyone would do as I wish, life would be great. You ever notice that when an alcoholic's not having a good day, you know when I'm not having a good day? When I'm not getting my way. We're all like 5-year-old kids here with old people's faces. Oh, you don't believe it? Cross one of us. But see, in that play, the actor being the director, what I had done is I had given God a role in my play. And when God doesn't meet my finite human expectations, I become separate from that power. And I had put a label on that power. You get in a closet and pray for a hot dog, you know what'll happen, right? You'll die. God can move mountains, but you better bring a shovel. And I had a belief system that kept me in a place of separation. I tell my sponsees, don't pray for women. God's not a pimp. I knew I'd offend some people tonight. But see, the reality is, as I was able to face and be rid of the things in myself and that belief system that was blocking me, I started to find spiritual freedom. It was just that simple. It's like when they asked Michelangelo, they said to Michelangelo, how did you make the statue of David? And Michelangelo said, I never made the statue of David. I just chipped away everything that wasn't David, and there he was. It's such a simple example, but it's so true for me. If you tell a 5-year-old kid, I want you to go in your room and straighten out your room, you think he wants to do that? You tell that same 5-year-old kid, I want you to go in your room and throw out all your old stuff, we'll buy you new stuff. How long would that take? If you're new, don't rob yourself. Don't believe that this is all that there is in AA. You know, if you sit in a chicken coop for 20 years, guess what? You won't become a chicken. And I didn't understand that unless I took these time-tested steps, unless I was rid of the things in me that were blocking me, I would never realize the spiritual awakening that Wilson was talking about. And as I became willing to look at that one more time, I got around a group of people in AA that really knew how to take me through this process and show me that there was much more here than just sitting in these rooms. It was a lot more than just survival. You know, I remember my sponsor said, Adam, what do you want from AA? And I said, well, I grew up in Malibu. What I want is a yacht and a Learjet. I mean, I'm honest, right? You know, they make you write that down in your first year, what you want. And what he said to me, he said, Adam, if you work steps 4 through 9 and you consistently live in 10, 11, and 12, what you'll get, because I want to know what I can get, right? Because I'm a taker. He said, what you'll get is a quiet mind and a loving heart. And I looked at him and I said, what do I want that for? But see, you know what the opposite of a quiet mind is, right? It's a mind that won't shut up. It's a mind that's up at 3 in the morning telling you you're a loser. You're fat. You know that job you got, they're going to do the background check on you. It's the one that's telling you right now your significant other's with their ex while you're in here. Right? So you can't stop text messaging. It's a mind that's up 5 minutes before me every day saying, you don't need AA. And what's the opposite of a loving heart? It's a vindictive heart. It's a prejudiced heart. It's a resentful heart. All of my life I was crucified between two thieves, yesterday and tomorrow. In yesterday I have guilt, shame, and remorse. In tomorrow I have fear, anxiety, and worry. The product of the steps for me is that I'm present. That I'm free of those two thieves. The inventory of resentment, to take an event from the past, to relive it, to feel it, and to reenact it in every area of my life, and to look at my future, the speculation of what I'm going to lose or what I'm not going to get, and being free of that. Our spirits are almost like a body of water. When they're perfectly still, they best reflect the heavens. See, I know how to get there with a bottle of liquor. But my experience shows me that unless I can find that sense of comfort and ease that I sought from alcohol through this process, there's no way I'm going to stay here. You take the love of my life away from me and you don't give me something better, I'm a dead man. And I believe that's what Alcoholics Anonymous and this plan of action, this power, this process, and this program has done for me. And I can never pay AA back for that. You know, in closing, if someone did to me what I did to myself, I hate to say this, I would have killed them. If someone did to me what I did to others, I would have killed them. And then I come in these rooms, you want me to pray? I thought God had been watching. Those 3 relationships with God, with self, and with others, I was bankrupt. Like I said in the beginning, I was broken in those 3 areas. If you really look at the 12 steps by design, the steps remedy those 3 relationships. Steps 1 through 3, recreate and develop a relationship with God. Steps 4 through 7, recreate and develop a relationship with self. Steps 8 and 9, recreate and develop a relationship with others. It's that simple. 10 maintains my relationship with self. 11 maintains my relationship with God. And 12 through service maintains and develops my relationship with others. So coming out of the steps, I'm able to live in harmony in those basic fundamental relationships. There was a great spiritual teacher. He was asked, what's the most important thing of all your teachings? He said, love God with all thy heart, love thy neighbor as thyself. And if God scares you out of these rooms, don't worry about it. If you're a real drunk, booze will scare you back in. We got you. Back to those two choices. I have to look at that truth in my life. In steps 1 through 3, I give it up. 4 through 7, I clean it up. 8 and 9, I make it up. 10, 11, and 12, I keep it up. And as a product of that, I'm able to navigate around the drama. I'm able to match calamity with serenity. I'm able to stay in fit spiritual condition. I'm able to reach back in my community and help another drunk. See, there's only 3 prayers in this life. One is, God help me. It got most of us in this room tonight. One is, God give me. It's a big distraction. The prayer we never say is, God use me. And I thank you and the committee and everyone here for using me tonight to hopefully carry some message to maybe just one person. And I'll be forever indebted and grateful for that. Part of the word spiritual is ritual. And I have to look at the simple, unrelated things that I've been taught in Alcoholics Anonymous that have truly given me that freedom. You know, one of the oldest stories in AA, and it's really an example how this works for me, about a little 5-year-old kid. 5-year-old. He wants to play with his dad. The dad's an accountant. He's trying to think of a way to occupy the little 5-year-old boy. So what the dad does is he grabs a map of the world. You know, National Geographic, they have those great world maps. Dad rips the map of the world up into 50 pieces. He gives his son some tape. He says to the little boy, I want you to put this map of the world back together, and when you're done, we'll play. And he's thinking it's going to take this little 5-year-old an hour. Finally, some relief. Little 5-year-old boy comes back in 3 minutes. He's got the whole map of the world taped back together. It is perfect. The dad says, that's impossible. I'm 50. I couldn't do that. How did you do it? And the little boy says, you know, Dad, on the back of the map of the world, well, there was a picture of a man. I just put the man back together, and the whole world fell into place. If you're new, that's the spiritual technology of Alcoholics Anonymous for me in my life. To rebuild the man, 1 through 3 with God, 4 through 7 with self through inventory, 8 and 9 with others through amends, and to maintain, develop, and grow in those 3 simple relationships, 10 with self, 11 with God, 12 with others. And through that process, you know, I've been given a freedom that I could have never, ever imagined. I used to hear people say, I'm a grateful alcoholic. I want to throw up. But what I've come to understand about the disease of alcoholism is that this is the only disease when treated that leaves the sufferer in a better position than if they never had the disease. And I could only discover that through doing the work. Thank you for my life.